pretty cool. I've always wanted to do that.
$30, Amazon. That's crazy.
Cool.
Shipped to your door, free.
Welcome to Vinyl Verdict. I'm Bell.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Plouffe.
And this week it is Plouffe's pick. What are we listening to?
We're going to listen to AM by Arctic Monkeys because it's been about 10 years since they released that album.
Yes.
It's another band with a name that you want to put "the" in front of. They're an English rock band formed in Sheffield, 2002, and they currently consist of Alex Turner, the singer, drummer Matt Helders, guitarist Jamie Cook, and bassist Nick O'Malley. Josh Homme also adds some backing vocals on a couple of tracks. We'll get to that later. One for the road and knee socks.
Or Ami. We will never know.
I think it's Homme, but
I think it's Home.
Home. Interesting. James Ford also plays keys on One for the Road, Number One Party Anthem, and I Want to Be Yours. It's a good album. I bought this a long time ago because, well, I don't know. I don't like the Arctic Monkeys. Again, I just put "the" in front of the name. I tried to get into them a long time ago, back in around 2010, so just a couple years before this album came out. My buddy Jim really liked them, and he kept, kind of being like, "Oh, you should like them. You like all these other bands. Why don't you like them?" And I don't know. I guess maybe it's just because I like all those other bands more. But I tried it. It wasn't for me. And then AM came out. I heard "Are You Mine" somewhere, maybe Rocksmith 2014, and I was just sold.
This is their most accessible album.
Yeah, it is extremely different from anything else.
Right?
And it's different from everything else they've released so far. Because their next albums are quite different.
Yeah.
They kind of have a theme for each album now, versus before it was like British punk.
Kind of,
rock.
yeah. They're kind of like
rock and or roll.
kind of like the Strokes or like Jet or some
Strokes.
band like
Yeah,
that.
that's a good way of describing them.
But I was so excited when Plouffe picked this album. I was genuinely surprised that this was your pick. But this is a banger. I was super into it at the time. I was the perfect age, being like 19, 20 at the time it came out. And it was a huge hit right away. Like, my friends and I were all into it. Radio hits, everything like that. And it took me a lot not to do a ton of notes for this album. I'm like, no, this is Plouffe. So I'm not gonna rock this thing. I went and closed the 30 tabs I had opened for all the references.
Man.
I was like, perfect.
I don't have anywhere near as in-depth of notes for that because, like, honestly, I love the album, but I'm just not a big Arctic Monkeys fan. So for me, this whole album is like lightning in a bottle, and it's just that kind of like sexy, sultry, groovy rock kind of tone, and they just crushed it. They caught lightning in a bottle, and they haven't done it since. It's their 5th studio album. So how many do they have now? They got like 8 or 10.
I think they only released 2 more.
Oh, okay.
I think it's
Bass,
7 or 8,
Tranquil, Hotel, and Casino, and then The Car, which recently came out. And the Hotel one is based like on a hotel.
Sure.
And then The Car is, I think, more of a traditional album. But this album, I think, has held up over all this time.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely feels early to mid 2010s, but I don't think that's a super bad thing.
No, same thing for me though. I was in my early 20s when this came out, and it's a lot of like, late night partying kind of. It's the night's winding down kind of album, and I really enjoy it. It's cheesy, but in all the right ways. After reviewing this one again, I tried again to go and listen to some of their other stuff, and it just, I don't know, it still doesn't hit for me. This AM just hits a tone and kind of nails it across basically the whole album. Pitchfork gave it an 8 and said it mixed Black Sabbath, T-Rex, Bee Gees, and the Rolling Stones. And I kind of hear it, especially Sabbath, on a couple of tracks that we'll talk about in a bit.
And the logo on the album is very Sabbath.
Iconic. Is it?
Yeah, because it's got like the...
it's just the waveform.
Don't make me pull out... no, on the back. Sorry, the band's logo
on
the back.
Yeah.
It's
totally
very Master
does.
of Reality.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't make me pull that out.
No. You're right. I was wondering where I recognized the kind of like growing font from.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. It's totally Master.
Yeah,
it's
even
Master
the name of the
Reality.
album is based on Velvet Underground.
Is it?
Because they have an album called VU.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There we go. AM for Arctic Monkeys.
Hey, yeah, that's really cool. I don't want to get too much into the album cover right away, but I love the album art. It's just like an AM radio.
Well, this guy's like, I don't want to get too into it, but let me get
Let's
into
get
it.
into
That's it. That's all I'm talking about.
Yeah, I actually saw Arctic Monkeys live last year
nice.
at a music fest, and they still play a lot of AM.
Not surprised.
There's like definitely the few hits from their earlier albums that they play, but most of the songs they play is from this album. I hope they don't mind. I always feel bad when a band gets stuck into it, but I mean, when you're also making a ton of money, I don't know if you mind as much. They were just in Vancouver. The tickets sold out like immediately though, so I didn't get to go, which is too bad. But they definitely have a very interesting presence, and I feel like the band that you think would play this kind of music is how they're on stage. There's no interaction at all with the crowd.
Really?
They go up, they play music. He doesn't even sing to the same beat that he does in the songs.
What?
Which means that you don't really get to sing along with a lot of the songs. Because he'll be like, or why do you only call me when you're high? Like, it's all different kind of beats. I don't know why, but it just makes it really hard to sing along to.
I like it when vocalists and guitarists and even drummers, when they do that, when they change it up for the live recording or for just a live show, because then you get something different. It's kind of a reason for me, at least, to go see the show, is to get a different experience from when you just listen to the album.
Nah, I want it to be like the album. I want that group feel where you're all like, man, this song rocks.
If they change it that much, where you can't even sing along to most of the songs, yeah, that's a little much, because you want to sing along when you're at the show. But it's interesting. I never would have expected that. Jamie, what did you think of this album?
Do you know what AM stands for?
No.
Average to middling.
Oh.
I don't know. It's a fine album. I think something we've criticized on other albums before is that there's a lot of songs about losing a woman who's too obsessed with you, or a guy who's too obsessed with a woman. I would say there's 12?
Alex Turner loves women.
12 tracks. Yeah, he's Billy Joel all over again. Billy Joel and Alex Turner both love women, and they love writing songs about women. And the first 1, 2, 3...
Most of the songs.
You
don't even have to count
it's
most
most
of the songs.
Every song between 5 and 8 is totally throwaway, and you could get rid of them, and the rest of the album would be fine. I think the album is good. I like the album.
I do agree that it's very start and finish heavy, and in the
Yes.
middle there's a bit of a lull that they probably could have cut one or two
Interesting.
songs.
I don't know if I agree. We'll get to it
Sure.
in the track breakdown, but I feel like the most slept on songs are in the center.
Interesting.
We'll
We'll
But
get there.
I also listened to this album a lot when it came out, so maybe it's just that the ones that have been on the radio, my time with them is done. So now
Totally.
the appreciation for the other ones
interesting.
is there. But I don't know. We'll get into it later.
I came to the Arctic Monkeys because I wasn't listening to a lot of new music on the radio, and someone's like, "Oh, you like, so and so band, and you might enjoy the Arctic Monkeys." And I was like, "Oh, okay, let me give them a shot." And I listened to the album. I was like, "Oh yeah, sure. There's some good radio hits on here."
Yep.
And then the rest of the album's kind of just so.
Yeah, it's interesting. They actually made this album to make a studio
Yeah,
record,
like a radio,
really?
hit.
like a radio hit
Yeah.
record, and it worked.
Yeah.
Which I always find funny because again, I'm like, I wonder if that sucks as a band to be like, "Hey, we're gonna go make a hit album," and then they do, and they're like, "Well, it's not what we've been making. Do we just continue to make this music that we know will be a hit?"
But it's hard because this one is so good.
It is.
Like the rest of their stuff just sounds kind of generic. And this is a lot of influenced songs, I think, and a lot of melding of other sounds. But they do it in such a fresh way a lot of the time that it sounds unique, at least enough to honestly just stand out on its own. And yeah, I really like it. I liked it back when I listened to it. I listened to it lots in my early 20s because, yeah, I was young, going out all the time, staying up late. And it's very much a nighttime album. And listening to it again now, it was one of the first records I bought when I started collecting vinyl, and I'm so glad I did because it only cost me like $30 or something.
It's still about $30.
All right,
so
perfect.
It's still a decent value.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it.
Sure. I think that's fair because it's definitely, I think it's not, for everybody, but it's clearly, their biggest hit for sure.
Oh, far and above.
Yeah.
Like if you look at album sales, this album is far and above any of what the sales of their previous 4 albums or whatever it was.
Yeah. Well,
Let's give it one last
hell
listen.
yeah. That sounds great.
Have you got color in your cheeks? Do you ever get that feel that you can't shift the tide that sticks and feels like a distant memory? And I can't help myself, alright. One hammer says, are you mine? That's magic in a cheetah print, go just to slip underneath it. I hold asking I can have one of the organic cigarettes that you smoke.
What an album.
maybe what an album for sure. Do I Want to Know is such a good start to the album with
It
that
has
iconic
a very
riff.
iconic
Oh,
riff, yes.
so good. Yeah.
It is like one of the songs that made me start to want to finger pick when I was playing guitar. I'm like, oh, you don't just have to strum. You can like do fun little riffs, and it's not even that hard. And every time people are like, yo, Arctic Monkeys. Like, it's so iconic.
Yeah. The lyrics are just super evocative. The soundstage is great with just a bit of stereo play on the guitar. And the singing's really sultry. He's got a good voice when he's trying to do this kind of style rather than they're more like aggressive, faster paced stuff.
Yeah, he still gets to use that fast-paced singing he's very known for. So it's just used in a very different way versus like kind of blasting you with intense lyrics and thoughts to be like, here's something very sultry, and I'm just trying to get all these words out to you as quick as possible before the moment's gone.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of these songs are pretty typical of like what they're trying to say. Like this one's just, you're nervous that someone's not into you like you're into them.
Yeah.
There's millions of songs about that, but this one like stands out in the way that it has the harmonies and that
the
really
background
dark
vocals
Oh.
really add to this. Yeah,
The backing vocals across the whole album are like really
very
solid
good.
a lot of the time. Yeah.
This was named the 10th best song of 2013 by Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
It was nominated for Best Rock Performance at the 57th Grammy, but it lost to
Number
Lazaretto by Jack White.
Gangnam Style.
Gangnam
Style.
Style. Dang. That came out 2013?
I have no idea.
It did.
What?
Fact checked. It did.
Yeah, I don't know. It's got a really good chorus too. That's just really easy to sing along to. And I love it when they do that guitar effect. I'm not sure if it's just a ton of reverb or something else, but it's just off in the background and it really fills everything out. And it doesn't feel too long at like 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, surprisingly, it doesn't feel long.
Yeah.
4.5 minutes. Like that, in theory, would be a long time for, especially like a hit song.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it does not feel long.
Yeah.
My only problem is that it leads into "Are You Mine," which feels kind of similar.
It's the same song.
Oh my god. Okay. It is, but "Are You Mine" is definitely my favorite track on the whole album.
It's very good.
I'm probably a little biased because I tried to spend a lot of time learning this on Rocksmith.
Oh,
But I don't know. It's so good.
pace is much faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yes.
the loud and strong start. It makes
Yeah.
it for a good transition from the last one.
Yeah.
But it's like the same
Same vibe.
theme.
Yep.
It's a guy
and
wondering
very
if the girl
similar
is
vibe.
his or not.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just said more straightforward. Instead of being like playful and, lovey-dovey, it's just like, "Are you mine?"
Yeah.
The riff follows the words he's singing. Like the way he sings, the riff follows that.
I love it.
And that's kind of interesting. You don't see that very often.
Yeah.
And it gets heavier as the song closes out, which is also interesting to me. I did think it was a choice to have the same song back to back and also two songs with a question mark at the end.
Yeah.
Back to back. Thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's you'll find through the album that Arctic Monkeys does a bridge and then a guitar solo.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it starts in this song, and it's good. I like the bridge at the 2-minute mark.
Yeah.
And the solo is a nice touch. I don't feel like I ever get tired of the little solos they do. They're never long.
No, I love the tiny little fills that they do on the guitar and the drums, even the bass sometimes. Like it's they're just like it's a quick like couple bars or whatever, not maybe just one, and then they're out of there to either keep going with the song, or to let someone else kind of shine for another couple seconds.
So the video for this song and One for the Road are basically the same video with like the imagery reversed, which I thought was kind of interesting and a choice.
Probably.
You guys probably didn't watch the music videos. I did because I had a couple of minutes, so I did that.
You had the same amount of time as listening. Then you watch.
But watching now. I really, for this one though especially, I really love just past the middle when they do a few quick solos and then the solo vocals that then lead into everything kind of crashing back in around 2.5 minutes. It's not, it's cliche. It's not anything new. A lot of people have done that tons of times, but man, did they ever just pull it off really, really well.
They're the most recent band to pull it off. You're right.
Sure. Then we get One for the Road.
Our favorite musician, Josh Ohm, is here.
Yeah.
God.
Partly though, I can't even really.
He's barely in it.
Apparently, he produced their first album.
Yes.
Like
No way.
he's known the Arctic Monkey. Sorry, He's
he
known Arctic
produced
Monkeys
the album
Yeah.
for a long
Humbug,
time.
yes, which
Yeah.
released in 2009.
If you don't understand why we don't like Josh Homme, listen to our episode "Albums from Canceled Musicians."
That being said,
Things have changed
things
since we
have
recorded
changed
that.
a bit. There's a whole. It's very messy.
Yeah, we don't know who's lying, who's not.
I
He's
don't
still not
know.
a great guy, regardless. But
yeah.
He seems
he
like a
might not be as
dirtbag.
bad of a guy.
Yeah,
But he's not as bad of a guy as he was 8 months ago when we recorded that album.
now I'm mostly just mad about him like sucker punching.
Yeah, and
somebody, I
kicking
can't
people
remember.
in the face and sucker punching.
Still
No,
not
it's-
great,
Spitting on
but
fans.
not as egregious as we previously.
But on this
thought.
song, he does a lot of oohs.
Oh, that's him.
Actually, no, that's the drummer.
So what is he doing? Because I honestly
He's
couldn't...
got some very short background vocals in the chorus.
Okay,
And the woo woo is Matt Helders.
interesting.
I had
just
to look-
assumed he was.
I
woo-wooing.
I had to look that
can't
up
hear
because
him.
I thought that was I thought that was him, like, for sure.
He's very clear on Knee Socks or whatever other song it is.
Oh, he's on that one too. I didn't know.
I can't remember what it is, but it's one of the later ones. But he's very obvious. But this one, yeah, I couldn't pick him out like at all.
This is not my favorite song on the album. It
No.
feels like it's missing a solid chorus or hook.
Yep.
It just feels like a lounge song, I guess, but the whole album does. So like whatever. The guitar solo around 2:30 is good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One for the Road is when I kind of start to tune out a little bit and then come in for specific tracks because I think it just starts really strong with Are You Mine and Do I Want to Know. But One for the Road and every other song on this album, I never skip any of them. Like this is one there where all of the other tracks I don't like. I don't not like them. They're just not as good as the other hits that are present. But yeah, I think One for the Road is kind of, it's okay.
Apparently, they don't play it very often on tour anymore because the term "one for the road" conjures up imagery of
drunk driving.
and-
Yeah,
I
it
never
sucks.
thought about that.
It sucks because I love the little hook they do for the chorus. Let me put you one for the road. It's just
Well,
good.
now it's a Primus song.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but yeah. I don't know. It's good. It's only 3.5 minutes, so whatever.
Arabella.
Oh my god,
This is an underrated song.
It's
Oh.
got a good intro.
I love Arabella.
It is a slow start, but when it comes in at like a minute with
Yeah.
a punchy guitar and it's just so good.
So the funny thing is, that is very Black Sabbath. The down, it's War Pigs. Like this song is War Pigs, and it's just completely different. And I don't know, yeah, I don't know how they figured it out, but they did. And I don't know, they just crush it because it's War Pigs, but totally not the same
It's
thing.
War Pigs, but it's another song about how a woman is inescapable.
Yes,
This one's actually about a person. It's like his girlfriend at the time,
Yeah.
mixed with Barbarella.
Barbarella.
Yeah,
It's a
Barbarella.
great
Gets
movie.
Arabella or whatever.
Barbarella's a good bad movie.
Yeah,
it's a movie.
this is the song where I was like, man, Arctic Monkeys can nail a bridge.
Yeah.
This
Yes.
is such a fire bridge, and it
Yeah.
has a dope guitar solo right after it.
Yeah.
Really like it.
Yeah.
Wikipedia describes this song as both hard rock and glam metal, and it is neither. It is
Yeah.
just rock.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it either of those
And
things.
perhaps rock in the same vein as AC/DC.
Yeah. One thing I really appreciate is the chorus is kind of hard to sing along to at first because of the way all the lyrics kind of flow together. But once you know what they are, it's really fun just because of the cadence and the rhyming. I don't know. Arabella originally, when I first picked up this album, kind of went under the radar for me. But the more I listened to everything, it always stands out every time it gets to track 4. I'm always like, yes, my ears kind of prick up again. I'm like, oh man, Arabella's so good.
Now we have a Queens of the Stone Age song.
I want it
I
all.
want it all.
This might be the worst song on the album.
Yeah, it feels like it's from Queens of the Stone Age. It does not feel
Kind
like
of.
it fits on this album at all.
Yeah.
Like the theme, I guess, does, but it doesn't really
It's
do
got
anything
that
for
weird
me.
falsetto.
And I
throughout.
don't understand why there's a big shoo-wop section for
Yeah.
so much of the song.
Yeah. Shoo up, shoo up.
However, it references the Rolling Stones song 2,000 Light Years from Home.
Oh, I didn't know that was a Rolling Stones reference.
He
He
Not
says,
says
leave me
right
listening to
before
the
that.
Stones.
yeah. Yeah, but I didn't. I thought that it was an actual, like, he's trying to get all spacey and be like, I'm listening to the Stones.
I forget what
2,000
album
years
that's from.
home.
I think it's from their Satanic Majesty's Request.
Okay,
sure.
That's a good album. It's a pretty good song. Anyway, this is not a good song.
It's okay.
It is perfectly fine, but it is not what I want to listen to.
Yeah. I enjoy it when it comes on, but I'm not crazy about it. It's definitely another one of the ones that I would, be perfectly okay with either cutting or just skipping, but it's not bad. That's the thing, is everyone that's like, it's not my favorite. I don't think they're bad songs. It's why I like listening to the whole album start to finish so much.
Counterpoint. I think it's a bad song.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree with Jamie. But luckily, it follows up with number one party anthem, which is fire.
not.
I like the change
is
of
not-
pace.
that's the
and-
joke.
And the use of piano.
Yeah, it's the number one party anthem. It's the slowest song, or one of the slowest songs on the album.
Yeah.
Inspired by LMFAO's party rock anthem.
Is it?
No, definitely not.
Not at all.
No? Okay, sure.
It's talking about how you go to a party and expect to hear the number one party.
Yeah,
anthem.
so
Yeah.
this whole song is him waiting for the party song so he can go talk to this girl. So he's like, "Don't miss the moment. Come on, number one party anthem. Like, come on the radio.
let the party die.
Like, please." I'm staring at her, trying to think of what to say, but I can't get the song to have an excuse to go talk to her. And then he goes and talks to her at the end, and she's like, "I have a boyfriend."
Yep.
It's like, damn.
I got so built up for nothing.
So funny.
this is the end of side one.
Yeah, it's got another really good bridge near the end. Did you guys
Really good
notice the weird throaty vocals paired with "To Do Me No Good"? I never heard it until I was listening to headphones. It's just kind of spooky around a minute 50. The rest of the song reminds me of David Bowie quite a bit, though. I don't know if it's just the piano and the singing, but yeah, something gives me some David Bowie vibes.
I didn't get the David Bowie vibes, but
No. Well, I mean, I guess a little bit, but I don't listen to a ton of Bowie, so my opinion doesn't really matter.
Bowie's in space.
Yeah, it's not like classic Bowie. It's more like the
like
filler songs
like
that are on
Let's-
his other albums.
Let's Dance Bowie.
Sure, not
Yeah,
quite.
I just
Let's
want to listen
dance.
to this bridge over and over again.
It's good.
It's just
Oh,
so
yeah.
dreamy.
Yeah.
It really puts you in that club. I don't know. It just is it's a very cinematic bridge, which is a little weird thing to say, but I really enjoy it.
They're good at writing bridges. Like every bridge on this whole album, I'm like, yeah, that's the best
Somebody
part
make
of
a
the song.
compilation that's just every bridge to an Arctic Monkey song, and I will buy that album.
Yeah, all the bridges. It's like the greatest hits.
Arctic Monkeys 2023 Best Bridges compilation.
Then we get Mad Sounds. This is probably one that I'd cut. I don't like Mad Sounds that
Yes,
much.
it's the second worst song.
Right?
Than I
It's
Want
the
It All.
continuation of the previous song because now you found the party anthem, the
Oh.
Mad Sound.
Yeah, it's okay. There's nothing really special about it. I don't know how much the guitar fits here compared to the rest of the album as well.
It has a lazy, plodding pace,
Yeah.
and that's just okay.
I think it's nice to have a pace break from fast songs, but
Sure.
it follows the only slow song.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
like, why is this one
And you
here?
had to flip it over to find that.
I think it might have been a good ending song
Yes.
to symbolize the end of the night, or an intro song because it's talking about how music will get you excited.
Yeah.
So if that was the first song to lead into these faster songs, it would
Yeah.
make sense, or to wind down after the party. But it follows the only other slow song. So it's
Yeah.
like, why is this okay? Like,
so
cool.
you ended on a slow song, and then you begin on a slow song because you had to get up and turn this over.
Yeah.
Very weird, especially because Fireside is next, and that's a good one. But Mad Sounds is mid.
Yeah, fully agree. I kind of like the ooh la 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 backing vocals later on in the track,
Yeah, I wrote that down too.
but it should be the final track on the album, or like Bell said at the very start. I think that'd be a pretty cool intro as well. Man, you can't replace the "Do I Want to Know" guitar if you can't do that. It's so iconic.
Well, if you shortened Mad Sounds, so it's almost like a beginning interlude,
like an
intro,
okay,
and then
yeah.
it went into that, it'd be fine.
Yeah,
I
that'd
think
be
the
cool.
worst part about "Do I Want to Know" now, though, is that it's been used in so many car commercials.
Has it been?
I don't watch commercials.
They use them for like in the Dodge commercials.
Oh, I
I
don't.
plug my ears and close my eyes when the
Yeah,
commercial
you're
comes
not
on.
getting.
Have you ever
views
drove
from
a
me.
Dodge Ram?
To be fair, that'd make me buy a Dodge Ram.
Yeah. Then we get Fireside.
Great song.
Yeah, at last the lull is over and the energy is back. I don't love Fireside.
It's a song about moving on from a love.
I like it though. Is it?
I think so.
Is it?
I don't know. It could be.
Sure.
I'd have to look at the lyrics again to.
This is probably the song I've listened to the most from this album, at least
Really?
since after release. I find it the chorus is so catchy. I
Yeah.
love the speed. I don't really have a ton of notes. It's just catchy. There's
Yeah.
a good bridge with a solid guitar solo after it. And it's like, again, maybe just because it wasn't popular at the time. Now I enjoy it, but
I think tracks 5 to 8 could be cut from the album, and I wouldn't mind.
you'd be wrong. But
It's
5
just
and
too
7
many
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave Fireside and we'll cut 5 to 7.
Absolutely not. Number one party anthem is necessary.
Yeah, keep number.
What?
It's
Just
the
cut
only
Mad
slow
Sounds.
song that
No,
is
we're
worth
getting
listening
rid of
to.
it. No,
Just
it's
keep-
done.
just cut Mad
That's not what I'm
Sounds.
coming to them for.
All right, fine.
You're wildin'.
I really like the background synth that kind of comes forward around 2 minutes. I think that's pretty cool.
There's more shoe ups back there too.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah. Fireside's really good. It's pretty solid song. And then we get Why'd You Only Call Me When You're High. This is probably one of my other favorites.
It's very popular.
Yeah.
It's another song with a question mark at the end.
It is. They
Also,
definitely
we
like
need
to
more
do that.
questions in music.
Yeah, the song's pretty good. I love the chorus. Good imagery in the lyrics, especially at the start when he's talking about showing up when she's leaving.
It's got the same kind of beat from Do I Want to Know.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
So they found the formula that they liked. And
It works. Yeah, everyone with that beat was very popular. So
It's true.
and it's got that fast singing that Alex Turner is so famous for.
Yeah.
Guess what? Love the bridge.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I also
again.
like the outro verse as things kind of start to spiral a bit.
Yep.
It's like the realization that she really does not want to talk to you because
Yeah.
she's like, stop calling me.
It,
and like,
it reminds me of, he's coming down and
Mm-hmm.
kind of realizing, like, uh-oh, I'm not even going to go and get laid or anything. It's just coming off the drugs.
Alex Turner's life is based on getting laid.
Crazy.
And like this is like
Oh, it's like
every
Prozac.
song is like it pretty much is Prozac. Except for if Prozac was just
Arctic
at a bar
Monkeys is
wasted.
Prozac.
If he was at a bar wasted every single song. Because that is what it is. Like even one of them, is it this one? Starts with like, he's looking in the mirror, which we've all had this experience when we're wasted. You look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, woo. And that's how this one starts. Like he's like, I really need to go home. I have a last chance to get laid.
I'm
Yeah.
not
I'm gonna text
gonna.
her.
I'm not gonna take you home. I don't even know your name.
Pretty much exactly what the song is. But I mean, it's good. It's a really good song.
The song is described as both R&B and funk rock, and I don't think that's
Listen, where are you
true.
getting your information?
It's
Gene?
on the
Yeah, it's kinda
Wikipedia
weird.
page,
You know
and then it
anybody can
linked
edit
to the
Wikipedia?
Pitchfork review, and they said, "Oh, this song's like R&B and funk." And I'm like,
I wouldn't call it
"No,
funk.
not at
R&B
all."
maybe a little bit, but not funk.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a fine song.
Yeah.
It's not very deep.
No, none of this is super deep. Most of it's pretty cheesy. That's part of why I like it so much.
Just like the next song.
Yeah, snap out of
A
it.
song about Alex trying to convince someone to leave their relationship for him. He's a very confident man. It's a very traditional pop rock song.
Yeah. Back again. It's the incredible rhyme animal, Alex Turner ramming baby with baby.
Hell yeah. I don't know. I do agree that, you shouldn't do that too much, but sometimes same word rhymes are like okay.
Yeah. Well, Sabbath does it.
Yeah, exactly.
Generals gather in their masses, just like witches at
Witches.
black masses. Yeah, there you go.
Sometimes it just works.
Yeah, masses and masses, baby.
I do like the lines, if the watch don't continue to swing or the fat lady fancies having a sing.
Yeah.
I was like, that's funny because
It's
it's
nice.
over when the fat lady
Yeah,
sings.
though.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
clever.
It's a nice way to reword everything. I really like the tambourine or whatever it is in the background. I think it's a
Yeah.
nice subtle addition. Again, good chorus with great backing vocals. And I like the guitar licks and how they slow down at the end of the chorus. It's really fun.
Yeah, very catchy.
Yeah. Then we get Knee Socks. I love
intro riff.
Someone
the bass.
on Genius.com says this is the best song on the album, and I must disagree.
Yeah, it's good and I like it, but I don't think it's the best song on the album.
I don't like Josh Holmes' bit on this.
Really?
No.
No.
I actually kind of like it on this. It makes it
It's
sound
got
like a
good
Queen
intro.
song.
It's got a good chorus. I like the post-chorus, but I don't like the bridge and Josh Homme on.
Dang.
No, it's poo poo. It's poo poo doo.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually kind of like it. I like that they changed it up for the ending too, just a little bit.
This is not a song I ever hear people play.
Really?
I did not remember this song was on the album.
It has
really?
400 million plays on Spotify, and I don't understand why.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's because it's between two songs or something like that. I don't get it, but
Yeah, but it's not even between two. Well, like I Want
Yeah.
to Be Yours is a very popular song, but Snap Out isn't.
No,
Snap Out of it.
not really.
I
no.
don't know.
And even like the title doesn't match anything. Like it just feels very random.
Nope,
It's
not
about
really.
like a woman
Walk-
in her sweater and knee socks.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't really match the vibe of being at a lounge even.
it's the morning after. That's kind of the thing I get from it is he's gone out and gotten laid and stuff, and it's the morning after.
Oh, sure,
But
maybe.
Yeah, take the bridge out and this is a fine song. But
sure, yeah, I think it's okay. And then we get
Take
I
it
want
Josh
to
Homme.
I want to be yours. The
I
final
want to
track.
be yours. The final track. Yes. He uses the line, "I want to be your vacuum cleaner," and that's my next pickup line.
Yeah, this is every lyric except for the post chorus or something like that
Something like
is a poem.
Oh,
So like none of this is pretty much written by him at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
like
that.
he changed electric meter to lecky meter.
Yeah, I don't know what lecky meter is.
it's an electric
just like
meter.
the hydrometer, like
Oh.
counting your energy going
Sure.
in and out.
In rhyming
But otherwise,
slang.
yeah, all of this is just from a poem. He just added like one little thing.
Huh.
And it's I think it's one of the most popular songs on the album for sure. This was a huge hit, very good song. very romantic end to the album,
Yep.
considering everything else is kind of lust based.
Yeah. It's just really full, the whole album. And it's kind of apparent here the most. It's got really good backing vocals, and I love the drums. I actually wasn't sure how they were making that echoey block sound, but I watched a drum cover, and some guys using an LP 1204 Piccolo jam block. If anyone else was curious about that, like I was, and yeah, probably a bunch of reverb or something on it to add to the effect. But
Yeah, they like reverb on this album in general. Like, Do I Want to Know has incredible amount of either reverb or whammy.
I wonder if it's because like when you're in a club or a lounge, like it is like the music you're hearing is echoey, even though it's not recorded echoey. So they're trying to emulate that by being reverby.
Yeah, maybe.
But this is not how I would end the album.
No,
It is a good song, but I don't know if it really suits.
I had very
the
few notes
last
on
of
it.
the song.
I-
or last album.
I think it should be closer to the front. Maybe even
the
in
middle.
between Are You Mine and Do I Want to Know.
Especially because there's no slow songs in that first part.
Yeah.
Like having that kind of break up the first half would make sense, but
Yeah.
it's also just a very good song to end your album. I don't
Yeah.
know. Usually you don't end with, well, I guess there's nothing wrong with ending your album with a very good song. But
Yeah, it's good. Go out with a bang. I like it.
when most of your album is fast, I feel like you should just end fast.
It's interesting
Sure.
too because this would be closest to the center, which is typically the worst sounding part of the record, right? Because you have the least amount of material left. So I don't know. It's certainly a choice.
Yeah. Well, speaking of material and
choice.
how it sounds pretty decent. I listened to it recently.
Do you know where you bought it from?
Probably just Amazon or something, because I was living back home in Yellowknife at the time, and there are record stores there now, but there weren't back in like 2018.
I bought mine on Amazon, and it was warped.
Really?
I was
That's
looking at even reviews
unfortunate.
now, and people still complain about them being warped.
Really?
I was like, interesting.
I don't think mine is. Here,
It's not like awfully warped, especially with a better record player now, but I was definitely like, oh, that's a bummer. At the time, it was not, some of the songs were not really super listenable. I was like, interesting, because Amazon is pretty good at shipping records. For people
Yeah.
to consistently have complaints about this record, I bought it in 2014.
Okay.
So like 9 years later, people still have complaints about it. I was
yeah,
like,
it's
weird.
interesting.
Yeah, mine's totally fine, and I think it's even like heavy. I think it's 180 gram if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it's really hard to. Well, it's not really hard. It's somewhat more difficult to warp a heavyweight vinyl. The lighter
it's super
ones
odd.
are very,
Yeah.
very sensitive to heat.
Well, the rest of the release is pretty great because it's in a gatefold, which they didn't have
Very
to do
nice.
because it's a single LP. We always appreciate that. The only one thing that I would have liked is the left side is just closed. So, I mean, it doesn't serve a purpose. There's a
That is somewhat common on a gatefold.
it's not uncommon, but I just like it. Like, just leave it open. Maybe I want to put the lyric sheet in there instead of
Bundled
with
together.
the record.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it starts with a black front and a white
Sine wave.
sine wave, AM radio wave is what it looks like
It
to
has
me.
AM in the center.
Oh, what? I never noticed that. That is wild.
That's
Yeah.
kind of
That
clever.
is clever and cute. I never noticed
Very
that.
cute.
Yeah, the sine waves makes that AM right in the middle there. We flip it over, and it's got that Arctic monkeys.
I love this simple design.
Oh, it's great, and I love the white stripe on the back, black background. That kind
Because
of
just in Plouffe likes the white stripes.
no, I actually really don't like the white stripes. But anyway, I like how it separates the two
Putting the
sides
vine
for
boom
you.
right there.
Yeah.
Like it tells
pin
you
in that one.
It tells you what's on side 1 and side 2, which is always appreciated. But it's just Arctic Monkeys and then the track list
Certainly, yeah.
below. And you open it up and you've got a whole entirely black left side of the gatefold, and then
I don't know. I guess it's been so long since I've looked at my copy. I don't remember this photo. It's very funny.
Yeah, it's just them in like a white suit and black tie and white
It's
and
very early Rolling Stones.
Totally.
Early
Yeah, just like
Beatles,
a dress shirt with a black tie.
Yep.
Craft
black and
work.
white.
Yeah.
Deep.
Oh yeah, it's very craft work. And then as for the record itself, it's in a decent little sleeve here. There's also an insert with the lyrics on it, which is always appreciated. And then we've just got the same sine wave on the side B, and then side A has got all the track listings for everything on it, both side 1 and side 2. And yeah, mine plays perfectly fine. It's not warped or anything. It was a good pickup for me, at least, because I like my copy just fine. Like I said before, I think it was about $30 when I purchased it.
Yeah, I checked the other day. There's still $35
Yeah.
on Amazon.
I don't know because I saw it on Amazon for $48.
$48.
I paid $22 shipped in
Yeah.
2014.
Total that sounds about right. I bought mine later, like 2018, something like that.
Okay.
October 11th. Because I clicked
Oh,
on
yeah,
it.
the
It
history now?
gives the whole date. I was like, wow. Okay.
science.
What were you doing on October 11, 2014?
I also bought "We Were Dead Before the Ship Even Sank" by Modest Mouse,
Oh,
which
cool.
I'm sure we'll cover someday because it's a great album.
Sure.
I
Never
like
got
Modest
into
Mouse.
Modest Mouse. I like always kind of wanted to, and I was like, "You'd really like them," and I was like, "Yeah, I like that one song, Float On."
Float On.
But
Classic.
like, right? Yeah, it's good. I do like Float On, but I
I
don't
like
know.
The World at Large. That's a good song.
We'll talk more about them when that
Sure,
episode comes.
sure.
Jamie, what's your final verdict on Arctic Monkeys, though?
8 out of 13. See you next
Yeah,
week.
you know, that's higher than I expected. It's not bad.
It's fine. It's a fine album. I think I like 6 out of the 12 tracks. That's not bad. I would not include it in my collection because I'm not super passionate about them, and for $35, I have to be kind of more passionate about it. So, if I could find it used
It's
for a
probably
decent
very
price,
easy.
I would probably pick it up for a
Yeah,
used
it's probably
price.
not a hard thing to do.
Popular. Bell, what'd you think?
I think that this is a fantastic and consistent album that really nailed the alt-rock vibe of the mid-2010s and is 100% still worth a listen today. With that, I've definitely had my time with this album, and though it's fantastic, I don't know how often I'd go to put it on today since its popularity has come and gone for me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put this album in the number 2 spot underneath New World Record by ELO and above The Lamb Lays Down on Broadway by Genesis.
Interesting.
It's really a great album, but A New World Record feels like it takes more risks and is still fresh to me because I'd never heard it before. After listening to AM, I was like, oh man, maybe this is top spot. But I went back and listened to a New World Record again and listened to it 3 times.
Wow.
Front to back, and I'm like, man, this is a good album. Other than
Dang.
Rockeria, I skipped it every time. Don't want to hear that song.
I'm still floored that The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway was number 2
Yeah.
at one point.
We just have not reviewed like a ton of hit albums yet. Remember, we've only done like 8 episodes or 7, so
for this season.
yeah. So it's high, but there's still 40 others that could go above it.
Speaking of listener feedback, we weren't actually speaking about that, but speaking of listener feedback,
Whoa, Plouffe hasn't even given his final verdict yet.
That's okay. Let Jamie
there was,
speak.
There was
Let
one
Jamie
about
speak.
The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. So someone commented on the episode itself that The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway wasn't even the best Genesis album. I agree
Wow.
with them. It's not the best Genesis.
Which
album.
one is it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Did he say what the best one was?
No.
Wow.
I don't know. Okay, so from the 70s, I would probably say A Trick of the Tail. That's the one with like Dance on a Volcano on it.
Okay.
And then maybe Invisible Touch from the 80s. That's a
Okay.
good one. Or We Can't Dance. I don't know. Plouffe, give us.
Also to note on that, we read your feedback. If you watch on Spotify, you can reply to the episode in Spotify, or of course go to our Under Construction website, and there's a contact form you can send us stuff
maybe
there.
don't go to the website.
Nice. Wow.
I've responded to a couple nice people on the Twitter. Apparently I'm the social media admin. So
Good job, Jamie.
Thanks.
I don't know. We don't trust him with that.
You gave me the passwords. You didn't give me the password to the email though, so I can answer the
I'm a
emails.
smart man.
Only a little bit of responsibility. Yeah, it's good. I give it a 9. I think it's pretty close to being a 10 if they cut 1 or 2 songs that either stood out less to me, or if some of the other ones just stood out a little more, then it'd be really up there. It's groovy and kind of punchy and cheesy in the best ways. It's very full, doesn't try to do too much. And it's got some great lyrics and choruses and bridges. It's a really good album. I still listen to it today every now and then, whether that's on my drive to work or it's at home with this very record. It's the only album I like by them, like by a country mile. I don't like any of their other stuff, and I don't know if maybe if they tried to keep doing this exact same thing, they would make more stuff that I like. I don't necessarily think so. I think it would have gotten derivative. Even on this album, there's, like I said, 1 or 2 songs that just don't need to be here. But yeah, solid 9 out of 10. Real good stuff.
Yeah, really good. I don't know. I recommend to people to check out The Car.
Yeah.
I've only listened to a few songs off of it, but it is pretty good and it's reviewing quite highly. The Tranquil Hotel one is different.
Sure.
So it's definitely, if you like the Arctic Monkeys, try a couple of their older albums. 505 is a really good song, and a couple others from their first albums. But the newer ones have more of this tone, if that's something you're interested in. But otherwise, I understand why people wouldn't like Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah, they're okay. It's just not for me. I don't think they're bad.
You know what I also understand that people don't like? Our next week's pick, which is by our guest, Dan. Dan Besser from Linus Media Group. He's a streamer. He's a musician. And he's picked Ask the Dust by Lorne.
Lauren.
Which is like Space Wave.
Yes,
What?
but it's also sort
It's
of
cyberpunk background theme music.
I don't know. It's like a couple albums that we've covered.
It's see, I wouldn't call it dark electro. Oh, hold on. We're getting
Listen,
way
we'll talk
too-
about this next week
Yeah.
when Dan is here to defend himself. So make sure to tune in for that. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you later.
Bye.